jauh ya. Nah, bisa isinya aku atau apa ya.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
Please, you can kill it.
What has gone wrong?
Nobody trusts anybody now.
Come on, you hey. You want to live forever?
I got a really bad feeling about this.
Godzilla will live.
And welcome back to the 95th episode of the Monster Movie Stompdown. Of course, you got your host Sludge here, co-host across from me,
It's Mark.
and our brother from Texas.
Ruben.
Oh, and we have 95 episodes.
95.
I mean, we've technically done a
Man.
couple more, but actual main episodes, 95. We're close to 100, man, and we have got a real fun one for you. Mark picked out a really good, I think a really good giant monster film, Cloverfield, which we'll get into quite a bit here in a moment. But first, the most important thing I think we need to talk about is Ruben's just gained a new family member. His son just got married, and he now has a
That's right.
daughter-in-law.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
How'd that go, Ruben?
Yeah. It was great. It was a long weekend, and it started on Friday with the rehearsal dinner. There you go. I couldn't even get it out. Had a little bit too much good time. Have a good time Saturday night. Still recovering.
I can tell by the horrible
but it
dance
was
video that I was tagged in on Facebook.
That's right. I tagged it on Facebook, but I'm going to put it on the Monster Movie Stompdown group page, so you can see what has Sludge so distressed.
It's good to know that
Because
I'm at least
it
thought
was
of
great.
in those
It's
situations.
And you know the story behind that is I got to the church. We had to be there very early, so I get there, and I've known almost all the guys in the wedding party. I've known them since K4. That's
Wow.
what his wedding party was. So as soon as they got there, they said, "Oh, Mr. Delgadillo, we've been practicing this dance, and we want you to do it with us." And I'm like, "What are y'all doing?" And then they told me, "Well, it's called the Bully McGuire." And I'm like, "Bully McGuire? What's that?" And then they did it. I'm like, "Hey, that's from Spider-Man 3." So
Wait. And you did the dance with them?
no, that was the part that messed up. Is they told me we'll come get you when we're ready to do it. And I'm like, okay. I said, I'll do it with you guys. But the DJ started it up without telling them. So they didn't have time to come grab me at my table and take me over. So they were just happened to be standing right by each other. So they had to do it without me.
Oh, okay.
But as soon as they told me, hey, you want to do this? I thought of Sludge immediately. I said, yeah, I got to do this. I got you.
If Ruben would have been on video doing this dance, there'd have been a penalty.
I might have to come later on and record myself here just doing it, for the Monster Movie Stompdown. I might have to learn it and then do it right back here and send the video up.
Something tells me if that happened and we put a little insert online of it, it would be like the highest viewed episode we had.
So unfortunately, I did not get involved, but I did get a clip of the last few minutes of it, which I posted online, and I'm going to put it on the group page here. I'll put it on my personal page with of course with Sludge tagged in it because Spider-Man 3, if y'all don't know, is his favorite of all the Spider movie franchise movies.
That is an atrocious abomination of a movie, is what that is.
I recall a video of you having Spider-Man 3 Venom on your dashboard. I remember that. I don't remember why you
that
had
was
it.
a gift. Somebody was trying to be nice. They knew I liked Venom. They had no idea about the movies and got me the little. I can't even remember what company. To be honest, I don't have it anymore. I got tired of looking at it.
And I wasn't here when he saw the video, but I probably would want to believe that he was dancing right along with it. Yeah,
absolutely not. That did not happen. Don't dance.
I can picture it in my mind right now.
Well, your mind is lying to you. So, other than the atrocity of that dance, how did the rest of RJ's wedding go?
It was great. The wedding went, at church was flawless. RJ did he didn't do the music, he planned the music, and he, it was there was a string bass and a violin and then some excellent, I guess, chanter singers. So it was really a very nice ceremony. And at the reception, it was great. Got to meet the whole other side of the family that's part of the family now, and that was great. And now they're off on their honeymoon. They're at Key Largo. As a matter of fact, they just landed a couple hours ago. They just got to the resort. So it's kind of humid and cloudy and just uncomfortable here. And they're in 78-degree Florida weather.
Hopefully bragging
A lot
about it.
nicer.
So, well,
yeah.
that's
So
awesome.
it's very nice. But it was a very, they're just happy as can be. And so am I. I mean, it's kind of like, it's you raise your kid, and this is all going to happen, but when it happened, it still kind of blindsides you. Hence the little bit extra celebration on Saturday night, but it went fine.
And the tears and Spider-Man
yeah.
3 dance that ensues from
that's
that
how
for
it
sure.
works.
So, but man, that's awesome. RJ, you guys, congratulations.
Definitely.
And we just pray that your marriage is super blessed. Glad the wedding went good, and hope you guys are enjoying your honeymoon. Make sure you're calling your father to rub it in that you're in that amazing place, and he's in cloudy Texas right now.
Right.
So
They are now RJ and Ana Delgadillo. So that was. And she, Delgadillo is a hard name to pronounce, but her maiden name was Sinye, which is her dad is Hungarian, and her mom is Hispanic.
So there was no chance
that's
of
good.
anybody in the future getting either name right when meeting them, correct?
That's right. Yes. Matter of fact, the DJ got it wrong when he introduced them, which was, I'm like, man, really? We always get mixed up Delgadillo with Delgado. I don't know how many Delgados you have up in Tennessee, but
Ironically, we
there's
have
a lot down
we've
here.
got a few Delgados up here. I actually went to school with a couple Delgados.
Yeah.
yeah, so that's a lot more common name than Delgadillo. But it's all well, and right now they're enjoying their honeymoon. They did it right, They're both very traditional Christians, and the odds of him finding somebody that had his same beliefs was pretty astronomical. But he found her, and it's great.
That is awesome. Super stoked, RJ. Congratulations for that. So, or was somebody interrupting? No, go ahead and answer it. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh.
Go ahead and answer. We've got an interruption on the show that you guys get to see.
Yeah. Hello.
You got to put her to the mic so she can say hello.
Say hello on the mic.
Hello.
She said no.
Oh, well,
She
we're
said
recording
no.
and we can't stop
right in the middle
these.
of the show. We can't stop.
All right,
What we got?
it didn't get picked up. Well, I guess it's not about his car warranty.
No, I don't think
Yes.
it's about his car warranty. So, well, we're
yeah.
on air about it's either Pizza Plus
What?
because we know that he lives and breathes that,
Hello.
or they did have a bit of an issue with water at their house. Somebody,
Yeah, he was telling me about it.
somebody
they,
screwed up,
Are we still
dug into
are
a
we
water
still
line or
that
something like
much?
that. So, but
Yeah, that they were mining something and they hit a pipe. They crushed a pipe.
yeah, they mined
Hang on.
slate.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
He's walked
Yeah.
away. Look at that. You see what she's done?
Just leave.
I can't believe this.
Many unbearable hours later.
Right.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. So let's jump into it, man. We are on our 95th episode. I was telling them about everyone watching our little Christmas festivities. We like decorating for the big holidays, so it's kind of nice and livens up the room a little bit. So, but we are on our 95th episode, and this is a JJ. Well, there's a lot of big names involved in this film. So directed by Matt Reeves, produced by J.J. Abrams. Of course, the idea came from J.J. Abrams, and then written by Drew Goddard. So a pretty stacked trio working on this film. But this is Cloverfield. Came out January 18th of 2008. Had a pretty decent, not a huge budget. It had a $25 million budget, but actually went on to do almost like a little over $170 million at the box office, like 172, 173. So definitely was a success. Had probably the most unique and wildest promotional tours ever when it comes to the commercials. Like I think it was maybe in Transformers. One of the Transformers movies is when the first trailer dropped and you had no idea what it was about, and everything leading up to them, you had no clue what you were getting into till the day the movie came out, and it was amazing. They even did a game you can play online, an augmented reality game that you can play. So they went above and beyond with this. But 2008 film called Cloverfield. This is our giant monster movie of the month, and we will jump into the synopsis of this right after we show you the trailer.
My name is Robert Hawkins. Approximately 7 hours ago, something attacked the city. You found this. If you're watching this, then you know more about it than I do. Hello? Beth? Beth, where are you?
Okay, we cannot go into the middle of the city. We gotta get out of here.
There's nothing you can do for now.
Do you know what that thing is?
Whatever it is, it's winning. Do you have any idea what's out there?
I don't care what's out there. Listen to me. She's dying.
Turn that camera.
Robbie, I saw it. Robbie, it's a lot.
What was that?
Still filming?
Yeah. People are gonna want to know, how it all went down.
All right, and that was the trailer for Cloverfield. And I know, and I do want to apologize to all of our the rest of the people on our network. We are down on the commercials right now. That's because I'm working on what I need to be able to show on the video side of the show, the commercial time frames. I'm trying to work up a video for that. But please go check out all the shows we got on the Give Me Back My Podcast Network. It's not just us. It's Give Me Back My Action Movies, Give Me Back My Horror Movies, Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling. And, of course, we got the awesome dudes over at Good Beer, Bad Movie Night. Go check out all the shows. Promise you're going to love them all. They're phenomenal shows. So much fun. We enjoy them. And
they are.
We enjoy being a part of the group of those guys because they were all just super, super awesome. And, of course, Charlie over at the Action Movies and Horror Movies, he's who does our trivia for us. So thank you, Charlie, for that. And let's get into this, man.
That was a pretty good commercial you just did right there.
I think it was pretty good. Yeah.
Good.
Off the fly.
Yeah.
I think off the fly, did really well. So, and then stick with us as I'm still trying to learn to work these cameras. So we're pretty open, but as anybody can see, we've got this little tool I'm having to switch. Like, when it's on me, then when it's like Mark talk, I got to switch over to Mark.
Yeah, there I am.
And then we got to switch over. What?
Well, one thing that I do find out because I can see what you're doing over there, and you do pretty good at it. You do pretty good at it, unless there's just something we're talking about that kind of hurts your feelings, and then I notice.
Oh, then all of a sudden he cuts
I notice the thumb drops.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? No, then I just cut all that out entirely. Is what I do there. So
that's true. It never even makes it to the final cut.
Nope, it does not. So, but still working it. We're small. We don't do this for a living, and we just enjoy doing it. So we don't have like a production crew. We do this all on our own. So, but yeah.
And you know what? And it's like, it's a lot of fun. That's the main goal here for me is just having fun, talking to a couple of like-minded guys.
Yep.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Some stuff.
So yeah, most of the time we tend to agree. But yeah, and honestly, we do, and it's not tooting our own horns because we love the interaction we have with you guys. But you're just looking at the three dudes. Honestly, you're looking at two dudes, this one, and then the one in Texas that you now see on the camera. We're the ones that do the heavy lifting. Mark,
this is true.
Mark. You're the true, VIP of the show. We've
got seniority.
We want to bring. He does have seniority, and that screwed me over with the Swarm, which we'll talk about later in this episode. For sure.
We don't want to talk about that.
Oh man. But yes, I mean, doing the extra content 3 times a week for you guys, the underdogs, the monster mashes that Ruben does, and Ruben's been helping me out with the underdogs a lot lately, so thank you, Ruben. And then the Friday night fights. It's just all fun, man. Just having a group of friends and family that we enjoy talking about this stuff with, man. And it did. The reason why Mark doesn't get to do much, I guess, or doesn't have to do much is all started with you, Mark. So if you wouldn't have got me to monster movies as a kid, we wouldn't be here.
That's right.
Yeah. That may be true, but it's really the truth is that my work keeps me tied up pretty. You guys get off at 5 and call it a day.
Yeah, that's true.
And mine's not like that. As you notice, I just had a phone call.
Yeah. So I mean, we were just talking on the show, and then boom, work calls him. So that's the way it is for him. That's what he gets for being the boss. But
that's right. That big bucks.
Oh yeah, they pay.
I don't know about all that.
But he started on the salads, and then he moved to fries, and then he was a fry cook, and that's when the big bucks start rolling in.
Unfortunately, not true for his company, but it's okay. They do what they can.
It was close.
But all right, so 2008 Cloverfield. This movie started with J.J. Abrams. Man, he went over to Japan to promote one of the Mission Impossible films. I think the third one, and he took his kid over there, and they were just like, they saw Godzilla stuff everywhere, Ultraman stuff everywhere, King Kong over there, and it really inspired him to do a giant monster movie. And so when he came back stateside, he got to work with a writer or an artist to design Clover, the name of the monster in this movie. But so the movie starts off. It's a found footage film, and the very beginning of the movie, you see kind of the tail ends of an amazing night between a couple, and it's actually our main characters, Rob and Beth, and you come to find out have been like lifelong friends. They never really dated before, even though Rob's loved her his whole life. But they finally, the magic happened type deal. And that's where the first bit of footage you see is, after the disclaimer at the beginning from the government of footage found in the area, last known as Central Park. And it moves from that to Rob's going away party. Rob has taken a vice president job for a big company in Japan. And I'm going to go ahead and state right now, I don't know how much I'm going to reveal in this movie because of the trivia section. Because I'm like, I know there's going to be a ton of trivia, and there's so many Easter eggs in this movie, especially if you watch the other one. So hopefully Charlie didn't do questions on the other films, because I haven't seen the third one, Cloverfield Paradox. But what, Ruben?
I didn't study for this one. I've been too busy. So, man, I watched Cloverfield on Thursday, and we record on Monday. So, because I left and I was gone.
Oh, I watched it last night, and I watched it, and I watched The Swarm last night back to back, and we'll get into that one later. So, but anyways, so he takes a VIP job to a company. Oh, what the heck! Just in case it's in the trivia, I'll give you guys one. So it is an Easter egg from J.J. Abrams' work. The company is Slusho, is the company that he's going to go to work for, and that's popped up in other bits of J.J.'s work as well. His brother Jason in the movie can be seen wearing a shirt that says Slusho, and that's the Easter egg for that. And it's but so anyways, so it's this going away party, and you meet our other characters, his brother Jason, and then you meet his brother's girlfriend Lily, who's put the party on, and of course Rob's best friend, played by T.J. Miller, who's HUD. This was T.J. Miller's first big role before everyone saw him in Deadpool and stuff, and which Rob is played by Michael Stahl David, by the way. We'll put that out there. And of course, the party ensues, and we do see another familiar face y'all might know as Lizzie Kaplan. She's in this. She plays a character named Marlena, who HUD's actually in love with. So they're all enjoying the party. Beth ends up showing up, makes things awkward because things kind of fell out between them. She came there with a new guy, and Rob's been out of shape because he loves her, she loves him. They won't tell each other. That normal type of story, right? And he's fixing to leave, and be gone forever type deal. But so all this is going down at the party. All of a sudden, there's a massive, it sounds like an explosion outside, and they see fire and smoke in the bay, a wrecked tanker, and the next thing they know, they're running outside. The Statue of Liberty head is thrown down the street, and it's just pure chaos from then on out because a monster has come out of the bay, of the bay right there in Manhattan, and is attacking the city. And the rest of the movie is them. They first try to escape, going over the Manhattan Bridge, which in the process gets attacked by Clover and actually kills Jason, Rob's brother. So it's down to just Rob, Lily, and HUD and Marlena who are trying to escape this thing, but they finally get a hold of Beth, and Beth is actually hurt in her apartment building. So the rest of the movie is them going to try and rescue Beth. And as they go through it, it's just chaos. The army's trying to stop Clover. Clover's attacking. They're right down Midtown where all this is happening. And as Clover's attacking, these things are falling off of Clover because it's come out of the ocean, and it ends up being these little tiny monstrous parasites that are just killing people. And of course, they talk about Clover eating people in the process. So it's just nightmarish. And of course, this is all done found footage cameras, angles. So you're right, literally in the middle of it the whole time. They try to go escape and use the subway tunnels to get from where they are to Beth's apartment building. They get attacked by some of the little ones there, in which Marlena saves HUD but gets bit in the process. They do get mixed up leaving there with some of the military to try and evacuate them. And apparently the parasites have a venom or a poison of some kind because Marlena, there's no way to put it in this, blows up in a pretty gruesome scene. And so they end up making it to Beth's apartment. They find Beth. She has, her apartment building's all trashed. Half of it's broken over on the other building. She's got a rebar in her shoulder. They get her out. They get her rescued, and then they're trying to make their way out to an evac chopper. Lily, she makes it in one of the evac chopper. Then it's Beth, HUD, and Rob to get in the last one. They get in the last one, and as they're leaving, the military is doing an airstrike as one last-ditch effort before they pull out the big gun, or what they call the hammer down, which is they're going to nuke Manhattan Island if they can't stop this thing. And during the process, the airstrike does not stop Clover. Clover actually ends up hitting their helicopter. It crashes right in Central Park, and you then see what is probably one of the most gruesome scenes you can imagine as the monster eats HUD, or bites him in half, pretty much. But Rob and Beth manage to escape, and again, they have the camera the whole time and are underneath a bridge in Central Park. They kind of say their last goodbyes to the camera as the hammer down happens, and they nuke Manhattan, and then movie's over. Clearly, they didn't survive a nuclear blast, and right on top of them. So really good, crazy movie. I mean, as far as giant monster films goes, I think it may have been a minute since I've started. I'll go ahead and start this one because I don't even remember where we're at. As far as the order.
Actually, it was Ruben's.
Is it Ruben? Sure.
Ruben's. I started the last one.
Oh, that's right. Ruben, let's go for it, man. You go first on this one.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Now, this is going to sound strange. The first time I saw Cloverfield, didn't like it, thought it was not that great. But I heard so much good. I said, I'm going to give it another chance. Every time I've watched it, which now this is maybe about the fifth or sixth time, every time I watch it, I see something different, and I learn to and I don't learn. I appreciate the movie more for what it is, and it's really a great movie. I just didn't give it a chance that first time. I guess I went in there with maybe, or ready to be disappointed when I first saw it.
Do you think it may have been? I don't mean to interrupt here. Do you think it may have been because it was this was still kind of fresh? No, I mean not super fresh, but kind of fresh in the found footage era. Found footage films are still kind of new to the market, and so many people didn't like it. I know for me, that was my issue originally, and I'll kind of piggyback on Ruben when I review it. Was the found footage issue? Was that the problem for you, Ruben?
Yeah. No. I mean, I love Blair Witch Project. I mean, so found footage was not the problem. I think the problem was it's just going to sound cliche. Not enough monster. What the problem was. But as I watched the movie more and more, I learned to. I keep saying learn, but I appreciate it more and more that you don't really need to see the monster as much because of everything that's going on, and the parasites start appearing, and so every time I watched it, I said, this is really a great movie. I don't know why I didn't like it to begin with. I can't pinpoint exactly why I didn't like it, other than that. And it sounds cliche for me to say, well, there was not enough monster, because you hear that about Godzilla, you hear that about all these monster movies, but like I said, the first time I watched it was just probably on a DVD. I wasn't even purchased. I just saw it on TV or something. And because I just didn't think I was going to be interested in it. Every time I watch it, there's more and more that I like about it. And it's really got some great elements. There's suspense. There's, the parasites are really great. Matter of fact, parasites to me are more terrifying than the creature itself, even though he's tearing.
Oh, absolutely.
He or she or Clover's tearing through Manhattan. I think those parasites and then get, all they got to do is bite you, and then so it puts in a little bit of that zombie, that zombie movie type of a feel to it too, because if you get bit or scratched or whatever, you're not gonna turn into a zombie, but you're gonna blow up from the insides, which is like Contagion and all these other movies that have come out since then.
Yeah.
So a lot of these movies that people rave about, I think they took some of Cloverfield and put it in, and they say, oh, we could just break that out and make a whole movie just about a contagion that eats your insides, and it's original. It's not, you're not turning into a zombie. You're not turning into a creature. You're dying. You're going to blow up from the inside and you're dying. And that's the end of that, which is a gory, that's an awesome scene. I mean,
I think one of the most intense scenes in the movie, man, because it's so quick, and then they take her behind that tent, and you see the light, and all of a sudden she just starts to puff and then explode and blood everywhere. it's crazy.
Blood, and you see it, and the fact that the camera's pretty shaky, and maybe that's why. I mean, but so was Blair Witch, and I didn't mind that. So, to me, that movie really exemplifies a lot of the things that, in other words, it was very original. I think people since have taken parts of that and turned it into their own movie that has become successful. And a little tidbit, and I don't know if you guys knew that, but Beth was one of the little kids on Kindergarten Cop.
Yes, she was. I did
not
that.
know that.
Mm-hmm.
She was Kindergarten Cop.
So I hate
Schwarzenegger.
We need to know that then. She was on Kindergarten Cop, case of trivia.
Right.
Yeah. So based on that, she's in an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, so she can make an appearance on the action movie podcast, because they're just going to do one that I'm like, that's not an action movie, but Schwarzenegger's in it, so all of a sudden it's an action. Jingle All the Way. They're doing Jingle All the Way.
Oh my gosh, that is on my list of like one of my most hated Christmas films. Is Jingle All the Way.
I think that's the one. I just saw they already announced it, so I'm not letting the cat out of the bag, because they announced it on their page. But I'm like, Jingle All the Way is not an action movie. Why are they? I know it's Christmas, and I guess Schwarzenegger's in it, but I guess they can do Kindergarten Cop too, since Schwarzenegger's.
Well, and there you go.
But
you tied into this movie, so yeah.
There you go. So anyway, I thought it was great. As a matter of fact, like I said, if this was the first time watching it, I would have probably given it a 2 comp rating. I'm like, I don't like it, but every time I watch it, I see something different. The total destruction of the city was pretty realistic of what you think would happen when a creature of that size runs through it. And now that I think about it, one thing I didn't like about it, and I think it helped me like this movie more, is we kind of know now from watching the sequels where that creature came from and things like that.
Yeah.
We're, I guess, watching a prequel, what it really was. It was, they've done, well, it's a sequel that's really a prequel, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
So that helped me make more sense of it. So now when I watch the movie, it's not like, where did he show up? How does a creature that big just show up out of nowhere? In the Atlantic Ocean, I guess, or whatever that would be called there, New York, between Manhattan and New York.
New York Harbor, I think. Maybe New York Harbor.
Yeah, I guess it would be New York Harbor. Yeah. And I'm like, where did that creature come from all of a sudden? And you don't know that in the first one. You have to watch the prequel to kind of get an idea of maybe, and even then you're just theorizing. You really don't know.
Well, now there is theory in the first one that hinted at it.
Oh, is there? Okay. Maybe I missed.
Man, I don't know if I want to give anything else away again because of this trivia, dude. I'm like, I don't want to watch The Swarm again, but we'll get into that. So yeah, there is some.
You're gonna, you know what? You're gonna want to win this week.
Oh God. I've got revenge film in my pocket, Ruben. Trust me for this.
Sludge is gonna want to win this week. He's not gonna want to lose.
Well, wow. We'll see. We'll get there.
Go.
So yeah, I might jump into the other hints of where this thing's from and the Easter egg stuff when I talk about it. But anything else, Ruben? What about
No. I just wanted to kind of reiterate that if you watch the movie and you think give it a chance, that's what I'm saying. Give it a chance because it does grow on you. The acting is great. I thought the acting
fantastic.
was awesome. I thought it was fantastic. I thought, man, these, it's very, you believe them. nowhere throughout the movie that I think that I catch them not act or subpar acting. I just usually you can somebody's kind of stiff or somebody says a line that doesn't fit or says it kind of in a way that doesn't make this whole movie. The acting in it is tremendous. You get pulled into the movie with these actors. So I will say that it has grown on me since the first time it came out. And you got to remember that this footage was supposed to be VHS, so it is. By the way, I don't know how you nuke Manhattan and somehow the tapes survive.
Yeah, that part didn't make much sense to me, but
so,
it's okay. It's still a movie,
and that's the last thing. But in these monster movies, you got to understand that you have to suspend reality. If you want to enjoy a monster movie, you're going to have to.
Oh, absolutely.
Reality.
That's par for the course.
And that's just that's you just have to do that. So if you start nitpicking, like, well, that's not really, I'm a biologist, and that's not, come on, man, no, this is a monster movie, and you have to suspend reality and just enjoy it for what it is. So, and that's it. That's all I got to say about this.
Completely agree with that. So, Mark, you're up, man. What'd you think of Cloverfield?
Well, and I'm a lot like Ruben is on it. The first time I watched it, I'm not found footage fan. Okay, me and Blair Witch didn't get it. I mean, it just didn't happen. Didn't like it. And so the first time I watched it, I wasn't a big fan of this movie. But watching it again, watched it just this afternoon. Got a lot more out of it, and still had the same questions: where'd the monster come from? That kind of stuff. How does the film survive? Everything it went through. But I think overall, great movie this time around. Watched it and just enjoyed it. Enjoyed the acting and enjoyed the whole plot of the movie. I thought was very, very good, and the graphics are great. I mean. Maybe it was me, but I just didn't remember seeing that much of the monster the first time around. Yeah. But it seemed like I saw a lot more of it this time, or really, for whatever reason. And great movie.
Not to interrupt, but I think it's because it's a better. We have now it's 1080p,
right?
Versus probably when we saw it's 480.
Yeah.
So it was probably very dark and shadowy in the first rendition where we saw it. Now that I think about it, and now we've got Blu-ray, and there's probably a 4K out there somewhere.
Oh, I have no doubts that there's 4K.
And as far as the actors, they were great. My only downfall on it is what's her? I can't remember her name. She's in a dress and the high heels.
Lily's character?
Running all over Manhattan, which I was like, you can run pretty good in those heels. But,
right.
But I think, overall, great movie. A thumbs up. If you haven't seen it, definitely go see it. It's a good movie. And I'm in agreement with Ruben. I think the more you watch it, the more you're going to get out of it.
Absolutely. For me, I mean, it's fantastic. And I think it goes without saying, of course, now I saw it in theaters. Seen it a couple more times too. Well, I know Ruben, you've probably seen it in theaters. You didn't see it in theaters, did you, Mark?
No, I did not.
Okay. The special effects are fantastic in this movie. Like they did really, really well. Even watching it now, you're watching it on a maybe a DV mini cam at best, but probably a mini VHS camera. The special effects aren't so top of the line that it looks fake on a VHS mini cam. It looks like it fits there. But as they put it up in 1080 and 4K, it stayed the same. So the special effects look fantastic. Clover's design is so cool and so unique. The parasites look great. I love everything about the monster, and I don't have a whole lot of negative things to say about this movie because all the actors are great. I mean, the storyline was good enough to keep you going. I mean, because you got a guy who, he's in love with this girl Beth, and you get they have to get you into the characters pretty quick, but you understand his drive to go save her. So that makes it believable from a viewer's point of view of why you're willing to go do this and what sends him through it. Now, there are a few times throughout the film where I'm like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? That would have made a little bit more sense. But, the whole Central Park sequence, you're right there at the end and they're about to drop a nuke, okay? There are subway line entrances all around Central Park. Why did you not just run into a subway entrance? You would have severely increased your chances.
In fact, they were in there at one point in time. They're in the subway and come out of it. Yeah. So they know they've been there. They know they can get back in there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to find some kind of bomb that size, so it's those little things. But then again, the movie had to end. The story of them had to come to a close. And obviously, they wouldn't have done that if you went to the subway, or it may not have been as compelling. You know what I mean? Because you've gone through this whole ride for these two. And then at the end, of course, I'm a sucker for films where everybody dies. You lose them, you know what I mean? So I did enjoy that, but there was little things like that I nitpick on any film, anyways. That I'm just like that kept me from putting this thing over the top when it comes to the rating. But I love the characters. HUD was a fantastic character. That was my introduction to T.J. Miller, and I'm not a big fan of him as far as his comedian side. His just deliveries as a comedian, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But as an actor, his comedy works great. You know, just his personality. And so he comes off really, really well. You know, they're talking, you know, in the party when they're, you know, HUD and Jason don't understand what's going on between Beth and Rob, and they go to Lily because they realize Lily knows what's going on, and Lily's like, oh, okay, they slept together type deal. And then, like, you can't tell anybody. And then immediately, that's all HUD does for the next, 2 minutes. Hey, did you know Beth and Rob? Did you know Beth and Rob? You know? So, I mean, that's a real-life person we can all relate to, you know? So, TJ did fantastic. Yeah. All the characters did really, really good. Actually, I think Lizzie Kaplan did a phenomenal job as Marlena, going from someone who's annoyed by HUD at the beginning, who, of course, is going to control everything, from being annoyed to, like, saving his life, and then all of a sudden they got that moment in the subway when they get out of the subway in one of those rooms down, you know, below ground or whatever, and they're kind of patching her up. That moment with the two of them, you're like, you know, you feel that connection. So delivery was great. I mean, the camera angles for a found footage film, I'm like you, Mark. I'm not a huge found footage guy. I can count on one hand and save one finger still how many found footage films I truly love, because there's not many. But this one is definitely one of those.
Well, I think a lot of what that is to me was like, you know, if you take the Blair Witch, it's compact. It's really, really everything's close up in your face. And where on this movie, it was more spread out. You could see more, and it was a lot, like you were talking about, it's a lot lighter, a lot more to see, and not so tight up on everybody.
Right.
So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's a good point. You know, because you it's instead of being like you said, Blair Witch, everything. This one, actually, you look around the whole city, you see the creature just pass by, kind of like, I can't remember the event. Is that it? Where the alien, you know, that's a classic scene, and it was kind of like that. You know, I think he took that from, you know, Cloverfield, or vice versa. I don't know which one. I think Cloverfield.
Yeah,
I think
Cloverfield came up first.
Yeah. You know,
it takes it from that, real close to now. You got a wide, still found footage. You got a wide, you can put a wide angle inside of that. You know,
with Blair Witch, you almost feel claustrophobic in some scenes. You know, where it's just too much,
right?
And where this, you didn't have that feeling through the entire movie.
Right, yeah. And I think that definitely helped this one for sure. What, Ruben?
It did also, and it also helped that the characters weren't. In Blair Witch, the characters get annoyed with the camera. Where in this one, I think that they kind of went with it. I think that helped them.
Yeah, definitely.
In other words, they didn't say, turn that thing off, you know. It may be a little unrealistic, but at the same time, you know, that's what makes the movie good, is the fact that they almost wanted to make sure that they had all this footage.
Well, yeah, even HUD himself says, you know, I think Jason at one point when they're walking the bridge says, dude, turn the camera off, HUD, or whatever.
Yeah.
And HUD's like, no, man, no one's going to believe this. Like, we need to document this. We can't just tell somebody
they don't
see it, you know?
And then that's the end of it. You know, you don't have them attacking him or trying to take the camera away from him. So there are some things that makes this movie more watchable than as the found footage than Blair Witch. Yeah. I think that's
I mean, absolutely. So for a found footage film, it's great, and it really does. And the thing I think I like about this most, and we know Gareth Edwards definitely did this again with the 2014 Godzilla, but I don't think he did it to the level that Abrams and Reeves did, of putting the film in the viewer's role of a monster
Right.
attack.
Yeah.
You are right there. I mean, yeah, you've got some awesome shots in Godzilla where you're kind of in the perspective of the person that's there. But this really, you're the person. Like, you're there. They're like, you see only the angles you could possibly see with your own two eyes. Where in Edwards it was a little more cinematic, a little more wide scoped, but it's still grounded. This one was pure ground with it, and I think that's what really helps this film. And then, of course, I mean, again, you kind of can't. At least I can't review Cloverfield without going back on the promotional touring. Like, that was phenomenal, and they still haven't. Nobody's done something like that since. Because you had months of trailers and TV spots where you were like, "What is this?" You had no idea. You had no idea it was a found footage movie. You had no idea there was a monster in it. You just saw this stuff and you were like, "I want to see it." We all went in January 18th, 2008, not knowing what we were going to get on screen, and that has not happened since. So I think that was absolutely phenomenal. And then to go even further with the websites, which Legacy has definitely done. With the Godzilla with the Monarch sites, when the other did with the MonsterVerse, and a few other people have done it before. But like, they were the guys that invented that. So I mean, there was a lot of ground broken by Abrams and his crew, and as far as this film goes, that just takes it beyond. I mean, you can't go back and get that experience you did at the time, but at the time, you got more than just a moviegoer's experience.
Well, I think it really puts you in the movie. It put the viewer in the movie. Yeah. From the trailers all the way up through till the time, and I think that one of the things on this movie, you don't know the origin, but you don't need to, because none of the characters at the time, when you're so into the movie, it don't matter. You need to survive, and I think that's the view. If you look at it in that view, how you just, it happened and you got to deal with it. And it's not a normal horror movie where the monster came from. It's just here, and you got to survive it.
Yeah, you never stop and think what's going to happen next, because you're there with them. You're running the streets of Manhattan with them.
You're sucked into that movie.
Yeah, it's like whatever happens is what we get to. You know what I mean? You're not like, how's this going to resolve? Where we got? You're there. And I think that, to me, man, like this, I ranked this movie pretty high, and we'll get to it here in just a second. But this movie was just really good. It was so different. It was an experience, especially as a giant monster fan, that we've still to this day have not truly gotten again. As far as putting us in the front seat experience of a giant monster attack on a city, and throw that on top with a really good storyline, a crap ton of Easter eggs. Something that spawned 2 other films that are tied into this universe that are vastly different films, but can still be tied into this. And the campaigns, this was just an experience that's, I think, still goes on today with Cloverfield. So I love this movie. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Very, very, very little negative things I have to say about it, other than, the tiny nitpick things like, oh, why didn't you think about going in the subway when you're in Central Park, But then you can go, dude, look what they just went through. They just came out of a helicopter crash. HUD just got bit in half. Like, they're probably not thinking, let's get in the subway, They're probably done for. They've been running for 7 hours of this attack. But, I mean, either way, fantastic movie. I think it's time. Let's find out what the Stompdown rating is. It's Stompdown rating time. All right, so collectively, this movie ranked pretty high for us. I mean, as a whole, this movie got 4 out of 5 stomps from us. I gave it a solid 4. Mark and Ruben both gave it a 3.5. So, I mean, 4 out of 5. I mean, this is one that we would have to recommend, I would think. 100%. Like, you need to see this if you haven't. Type movie.
Without a doubt. I mean, definitely a must-see if you haven't seen it. And probably, I gave it a 3.5, but there was room to grow with that. I mean, the more I watch it, probably the better I get it.
Well, I mean, we even before the show we were talking about our ratings, and I'm like, I teetered, man. I was 4.5. It's like, and that half is only literally just little tiny nitpicks, because I mean, I don't think I could put this on the level of a Godzilla or Frankenstein, but it is knocking on that door in my opinion. So, but because of the little nitpicks I had, it's at a 4. But yeah, like you guys are saying, next year it might be a 4.5. You know, my next viewing. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
Ruben, anything else you want to add to that?
No, I just that like this movie wasn't on any of our top 10s. We did it for Halloween,
right?
But I bet if we did a top 10 again, we'd all have, you know, some of them would still be on there, but we'd probably Cloverfield might make it on the list after watching it.
Oh, I agree.
Like
I agree with that. Yeah.
It may or may not. It may, because, like I said, it out of sight, out of mind. And then, you know, said we're going to do it, and I watched it. I'm like, you know, this is really a lot better than I remember. And like I said, each time, so it's that good that it could have cracked the top 10 if there wasn't so many great movies ahead, you know, in there. But it could have cracked it. It could have very easily cracked one of our.
Yeah, or should have been an honorable mention, because it's been a while since since I've watched it too, and yeah, it definitely could crack the top 10 for somebody's top 10, you know, list for monster movies, or the honorable mention.
If it showed up on somebody's top 10 monster list, I would not argue that point at all.
Yeah,
you know,
neither would I.
Neither
would I.
It deserves to be on some
but,
list.
There you go, guys. I mean, that's what we thought about the film, and it is a fantastic movie. And if you have not seen it, we definitely recommend giving this a viewing once. Now, I would say, before we move on to our next segment here, if you can, we all got some pretty good-sized TVs. I have a 65-inch TV. Mark, what size is your TV?
I have a 55.
Ruben, what size is your TV?
55.
55. So the bigger the screen, the better, I think, if you have the opportunity to watch this movie, because it's fantastic. Because it just puts you a little more in there. You know what I mean?
Oh,
from the viewpoint. So I don't think watching this on a 32-inch would be as great as watching it on a 65, but you know, or a 55-inch, something like that is definitely worth seeing it on. So,
and I imagine if you have a surround sound system too, even if you just watch it with headphones, your headphones on, so you can get immersed.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you watch it on the surround sound, like when I got in the vault, you're definitely in the movie. So
you're gonna be definitely in the movie. You know, you'd be in any movie, but I would, you know, sometimes I'll just watch a movie on an iPad, and yeah, it's a small, but what makes the difference is I'm listening to it on headphones, and then the sound is just so big.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well,
watch it at 65, 55, 65 inch TV.
Very good. Good sound.
Good sound system. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because I got what have I got up there in the nerd ball? I've got, let's see, I got 1,000-watt surround sound system is what I use.
Yeah.
All HD audio with 2, 4, 6, 8-inch speakers. No, that's just my towers. 8-inch speakers, 2 6-inch speakers, and then 4 10-inch subs. So when I watch a movie, the neighbors watch the movie with me. Something like this. So, exactly. All right. So
when you watch a movie. When you watch a movie upstairs, they're like, "There's an earthquake."
Yes.
Just like in Cloverfield.
Oh, without doubt. When I first put on Godzilla King of the Monsters on that system, when I first got it, and you get the stomps and stuff, I had it cranked so loud. Sarah was up in the other side, upstairs, the other side, or no, she was upstairs on the other side of the house. And she's like, the windows are shaking. You have got to turn this down. I'm like, no, I don't have to do that. Come on. So, but all right, guys. So yeah, go check out Cloverfield. And man, I know this has become a favorite for everybody, but it is definitely time to find out the penalty films me and Mark had to watch, and then get into our next round of Test Your Might.
Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Test your might.
All right, so it is time to test your mind. But first, we have to find out about the movies that we had to watch, because me and Mark both lost. And as the great son that I am, and letting him, you know, he's got
you are, but I am the terrible dad.
We're going to find out why in a second. So I watched
Lordy.
1978's Michael Caine film, The Swarm.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I remember watching that. I thought it was pretty good. And my memory is failing. I must be getting older, because that movie sucked so bad. That was one of the worst movies I have ever seen. And not only was like I was watching it, And I'm like, man, okay, this is not as good as I remember. But then I didn't realize until afterwards there's two versions of this film. There's the theatrical version that's like 116 minutes, which is already too long for how bad this movie is. But then there's one that's 150 something minutes. It's a little over 2.5 hours long.
And which one did you watch?
Oh, well, the version Sludge got and put on his Plex was definitely the 2 hours and 40 something minutes of straight torture that I had to watch. It was atrocious. I don't understand. Like the special effects for the bees was not too bad. I think they had I looked it up, they had a little over 1 million bees they used for this film. 800,000 of them had the stingers removed, which, my gosh, that would be a terrible job to have. 800,000 bees removing the stingers on. But Michael Caine, he's a great actor. All he did was yell at people in this movie. Even there's one part where and he's a scientist and he's talking to these people and showing them about the African killer bee and blah, 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 and what's going on because they're swarming Texas, and they're trying to stop this thing from natural disaster from happening, blah, blah, blah. A town gets nuked, it's, because they attack a nuclear facility, and it's just a weird movie. But all he does is yell. They're asking questions, well, what about this? And he can't just answer. He's like, blah, 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 blah. I mean, he yells at everybody the whole movie. I'm like, what is your deal, dude?
Yeah.
Very weird. So not good. I did not like it at all. And that was the worst movie I've had to watch so far for these Test Your Mites, and I don't plan on doing that again. So, Mark, What about you?
Go ahead. Let me have it.
You were supposed to watch Prophecy, right?
Yeah, I missed it.
You missed Prophecy.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I said I was watching Prophecy.
You did.
But I was like, you can watch it.
Yes, and I totally spaced it today, and it's my fault. I remember the movie from way back and wasn't a big fan of it, but that will not be the review I'll be giving it. I'll give it next week.
Okay. All right. So we'll let him slide because the reason you're sliding is because we do, and you guys are going to love this, very soon we will now have a penalty that will be for everyone that's missed. That I have just not had a chance to order yet because I have to order two because I got to ship one to Rubens and then one for here.
Okay.
But there is a penalty that is coming for missing movies.
Okay.
So you lucked out, but come January.
That's my bad.
Well, luckily there's two movies, so he can review it next.
Oh yeah.
episode.
Yeah, that'll work. So man, and Prophecy's great. I love it. I tortured. Yeah, I'm gonna win this one, and I'm gonna pick.
I saw both of these at the movie.
I wasn't a biggest fan as Prophecy as I was the movie The Prophecy with Christopher Walken.
That was a classic.
Yeah,
that one's a classic.
Anyway, it's my fault. I missed it. I'll take my punishment.
Yeah, you're going to. So,
we could have bypassed it. I told you this before the show, and you could have just let that slid right on through. But no, you just had to bring it out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Had to make sure that it was known that you didn't watch what you were supposed to.
That he thinks he's above the law.
Well, I mean, he loves RoboCop, so that makes sense.
Yeah. You're not above the law. You ain't as Steven Seagal would say, you're not above mine.
Yeah,
you guys think you're above the law, but you're not above mine.
All right. All right.
Yep. Let's jump into it here. So it is time to do this trivia. And thanks again to Charlie for this. And let's go. Number 1. What is the time on the camera at both the start and end of the movie? There's 4 here. A, 6:42. B, 8:35, C, 9:22, or D, 7:37.
Hold on, what was the first one?
6:42.
Okay.
Oh, I'm torn on that one. It's one of these two, and I just can't remember which one it is. Here we go. There. All right, number 2. Which bridge does the monster destroy with its tail? A, the Washington Bridge, B, the Manhattan Bridge, C, the Williamsburg Bridge, or D, the Brooklyn Bridge?
Who's that? You're going to have to tell me again. There's too many choices. I'm confused.
So A, Washington Bridge, B, the Manhattan Bridge, C, Williamsburg, or D, the Brooklyn Bridge?
All right.
And number 3 on our questions here. My phone's about to die, so hopefully it'll last. What other franchise is Cloverfield considered part of? A, Godzilla, B, Pacific Rim, C, Lost, or D, Planet of the Apes?
Ape shall never kill ape.
Say it again.
Ape. What other franchise is Cloverfield considered part of? A, Godzilla, B, Pacific Rim, C, Lost, or D, Planet of the Apes? Charlie, 2 of these are pretty.
These ones are good, but
yeah,
I think I did all right.
All right, we ready for the answers?
Yes, sir.
Let's get them pulled up here. All right, number 1. What is the time on the camera at both the start and end of the movie? A, 6:42.
I remember that because the military guy says, 600 hours, and HUD says, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So that's what. Now it could have been longer, but I'm like, well, 42, 6. They took off at 6:40. At 6 o'clock. So
I remember seeing it specifically at the beginning of the movie because of another Easter egg, which would tie into one of the questions here. Number 2, which bridge does the monster destroy with its tail? D, Brooklyn Bridge.
All right.
And number 3, what other franchise is Cloverfield considered part of?
I didn't have a clue on this one.
I did. I think I do, but I've missed some that that was sure of.
The answer that Charlie says is Pacific Rim.
That's what I thought it was.
That is correct. Yep.
Really?
That's what it is. Yeah. And don't ask me how I know that, but I remember that, and it wasn't Godzilla, and I knew it wasn't any of them. I'm like, man, I remember somebody.
I didn't think it was Planet of the Apes.
No,
Planet of the Apes and Lost was out.
No, because there's Lost Easter eggs in the film.
Oh, is there?
And
know that.
So at the very beginning of the movie, you can see the logo for Dharma. Dharma is the government program from Lost.
Oh.
The ship that they see that is attacked is actually a Japanese oil tanker from the Tagrudo oil company, Japanese oil company.
They say that. They say that.
That's from Lost as well.
My ignorance.
What I'm thinking, since I didn't miss any of them, Charlie is correct.
Oh, yeah, now
we do not need to question Charlie.
Charlie is straight arrow Gennaro.
That's right. No questioning the answers from the
coming from the guy who questions him all the time. Really?
Many unbearable hours later.
I mean, so that's just, because I haven't even touched the camera. Sorry, guys, you're just staring at me.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I don't know. So I felt 100%. My phone died, so it doesn't matter anymore. Confident.
Well, Ruben,
in that, but apparently not.
Ruben, Sludge has lost.
I have lost, technically. Although I promise, I will come back with a vengeance on this one. It will happen. So, Ruben, how many did you get right?
All of them.
You got all of them right?
Believe it or not. Yeah, I did.
Mark, how many did you get right?
I got all of them right.
All of them?
Yeah.
So right there that is.
Yeah. My only guess was the bridge. My only guess was the bridge, and I kind of did some he started off on the Manhattan Bridge, so he destroyed that one first, probably is what I'm saying. And then they were into tunnels, and I remember them talking about they were heading toward her. So I just guessed Brooklyn.
Well, at the beginning, they were discussing which one to take. No, that is a straight fan theory. That is not technically connected, and I have more evidence in the film itself, I think, to prove that wrong. But, okay, I will go with it. So, what am I watching?
Oh, this is a Ruben call. I'm excited to hear what Ruben has to call.
Oh, you don't have a movie to pick? You won,
too. No, I know, but he said you wanted to win tonight.
Okay, that's true. That's very, very true. So let's find out, Ruben. What am I watching?
Sludge is watching Son of Kong.
Oh, son of a gun! Really? Oh my god!
I had one for you, and I had one for Mark.
And you picked Son of Kong for me, like. Man, I hate that movie. Oh my gosh, this is
what really? I didn't know that. Mark, did you know that he hated Son of Kong?
I didn't know that.
I wasn't aware of that.
Wow.
Ruben, I don't think you repented enough when you were at church this weekend. You need to go back for that. So, all right.
As I was sitting there drinking, I'm like, you know what? Son of Kong. That's what I'm going to do.
See, that's what it was. It was the alcohol. You know,
It's alcohol.
interfering with him.
But he thought you and Son of Kong. There's a similarity there.
Oh,
I mean, just
What? White and hairy? Is that what it is?
If you look at the
I'm
beard,
white and hairy?
You look at the beard. Look how the.
What do you mean? Look at my beard. Look at your beard.
Well, I know, but I'm not the loser on
man.
this.
No, that's not how it works.
Wait a minute, y'all are becoming problematic here. Okay.
Gosh, all right.
It was the cheap wine and Michelob Ultra.
Well, thanks to that, I am now watching Son of Kong. Fine,
Which I am. By the way, just they were supposed to have for me only Dos Equis, and they forgot. So I had to drink Ultra.
Ooh, I'm sorry. That was gross. I don't like the old Michelob Ultra.
Everybody else was enjoying it, so well.
All right, there you go. Sludge has lost because the moles have infiltrated Charlie with lies, in my opinion. But
I'm gonna find where I read that, because I read this years ago about Cloverfield. I mean, I'm not talking about before I even knew what Reddit was. I read that somewhere.
Well, we will find out on the next episode. So that is the first time I've challenged Charlie. No, it's the second time, because we did talk about that dinosaur movie, and it was just specifics as far as the question. So he wasn't wrong, but it was specifics on the question. So, anyway, so all right, man, that was it. If y'all haven't seen it, go watch Cloverfield, which is directly tied to Lost and not Pacific Rim, and you guys will definitely enjoy that movie. And don't forget, man, go on and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell. That way you know every time a new episode, new commercial, new video pops up. And join us. Please join us on our Facebook group and follow us on Instagram, because 3 times a week on top of these shows, we do extra stuff for you guys, like the Underdogs, which is fantastic. All of them are fantastic. The Underdogs, the Monster Mash Wednesdays, and the Friday Night Fights. Friday Night Fights are always super fun because everybody gets joined in on those, trying to decide who the winner is going to be for those monsters. And go check out all of our other shows on the network. Again, we got Give Me Back My Action Movie, Give Me Back My Horror Movies, Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, and then the Good Beer Bad Movie Night show. So anything else you guys want to add?
Well, I did miss the Prophecy movie this week. And
yes, you did.
And I know you kind of like that, probably better than Son of Kong.
Oh, I love Prophecy way more than Son of Kong.
I probably could, as a nice gesture, let you watch Prophecy, but I'm not. You're still watching Son of Kong.
That is a load of crap.
I was about to say you're ruining everything, Mark.
I just need to rub it in the salt just a little bit more.
Man, don't tell me he's going to give him an out. I'm like, man,
Okay, so I just want you all to remember, okay, and the viewers and listeners are hearing this here, okay. I have yet to dig. You watched Zarkor, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Zarkor is so significantly better than the 5 I have hidden in the basement. There are 5 films that Sludge has picked for this trivia that I've been saving for a special occasion, and one is about to happen on the next one. So.
How does it compare to how do they compare to Son of Kong?
Oh, I would watch Son of Kong any day over these 5. Let me tell you this much.
Oh my
no. Let me tell you this much. When it comes to these 5 films that I have hidden in my back pocket in the basement, for you guys, I would willingly, and without hesitation, watch Titanic over these.
Wow. Okay.
So, and Sledge has been nice.
You know what?
Gloves are off.
I was feeling a little guilty about Son of Kong, but now I don't feel guilty at all.
Oh yeah.
All right. Looks like 2023 is going to kick off a nice little trivia war.
Let's get it going.
Time for everybody to start studying. All right. So, guys, again, thank you all so much. This is Sludge
and Mark.
You got Ruben in Texas.
Y'all have a good night.
Good night.